Hello and welcome Transformers fans, comic book fans. This is David Lees with today. In this video I'll be reviewing issue 13 of Transformers, A Bold New Era, although that subtitle seems to have disappeared. They say you should never judge a book by its cover, and this is a prime example. Here we have Starscream, Prowl and Chromia, but let me tell you, without any shadow of a doubt, none of these three characters actually turn up in today's episode, today's issue. Very quick recap. Prime apologising to Bumblebee for the death of Rubble, blah blah blah, and then Megatron developing the new Decepticon logo, the new face of the Ascenticons, the face of the future, absolutely. Straight in, I won't spend too long on any of the people featured today. You'll notice that Prowl and Chromia and Starscream aren't there, but we'll move on. And this ritual I'm going to call the Rite of Deceptibrand. For those of you who remember the Rite of Autobrand from the original G1 comics, all the Decepticons get themselves stamped. There's three there, being given the new Decepticon logo. Bumblebee, looking slightly out of place with the Decepticon logo, but hey, he looks slightly out of place anywhere at the moment. He gets himself stamped and then goes after Skytread in classic Bumblebee style. Lots of unresolved anger with Bumblebee over the death of Rubble and just general frustration. Gives Skytread a good kicking, as you can see, literally. Gets called out on it, and then he gets gassed. How many times are you planning on picking a fight with Skytread? Haven't decided yet. Bumblebee's gone basically mad angry, and kind of almost suicidal. His anger is just driving him completely. They notice that something's going on with the death of Barricade, who we saw last time. Can't get to the bottom of it, and he's just generally kicking off. Likely to become completely unstable, unhelpful, and quite an inflammatory character. Ratchet talking to Chromia, okay, so she does feature on a page, about the death of Rubble and the injuries to Windblade. You remember Ratchet got himself caught in an absolute logical tangle when he said that it's really difficult to shut down a Transformer. You have to work really hard, but there's plenty of them that could have caused Rubble's injuries, and in the post-mortem last time said it could have just been one blow that had done it. So Ratchet and Hoist and Prowl working together on, Flatline, pulling a list of potential Rise sympathisers in the base that they found: Six-Shot, Lugnut, Quake, etc. Then they discuss, while Sentinel Prime sits and listens, about how Sentinel Prime is just going to be more and more frustrated, and you can see various people talking to him. Prowl here, for example, sort of putting together a logical case for further investigation. Very slow, lovely, almost the only decent part of this particular issue. Soundwave saying, Ascenticon contention, crisis conditions dictate exceptional and unconventional responses. Only immediate accelerated senatorial elections can clarify the mandate for no, comes in Sentinel Prime. So Soundwave's towing the party line, beautifully used politics here to get more of his party elected and become senators and push the Ascenticon agenda, which is for war and instability, changing the status quo. Meanwhile, moving on, Sideswipe and Springer. Springer makes an appearance, totally token. It could be any other Autobot. Sideswipe, renowned for being reckless and rash, gets outdone by Springer, who in this case is even more reckless and rash. And they go off trying to find the Decepticons based on previous intelligence. We have a transformation here from car mode to helicopter. For those who like to keep count, that's one. So they're possibly keeping an eye out for Ascenticon activity. There's an alarm that goes off at one of the Energon stations, Crystal City transmission line. So Springer goes dashing off, full force, as you would expect from the Autobots. Absolutely no sarcasm intended, much. There's these Decepticons tapping into the Energon transmission line, Cascade, Wire Spike, and a couple of others. Springer jumps in, having overtaken Sideswipe. You're really supposed to be doing that? Back up, back up! Springer gets himself into a fight. Outclassed, outgunned, outmaneuvered, as usual for the Autobots, totally unprepared. Gets well and truly trashed. Sideswipe, transformation number 2, comes in. Told you not to go solo. Told you, he says. I am a total convert to the wisdom of that idea. Call in everyone. Those clunkers haven't got much of a start with us, and we are taking them down. So this is everyone. Now, you may recall that at the memorial site previously, Chromia took a total of 3 Autobots, including Sideswipe. They got totally battered, as you would expect, totally undermanned, undergunned, and everything else. Bumblebee and what's the name? Lost the name now. Never mind, we'll move on. But Bumblebee, looking at the injuries to Barricade and how he got killed and beaten up by a 6-shot team, and they do seem to be making progress. Meanwhile, back with Sideswipe and Springer, the Decepticons they were chasing found themselves a railgun, so they outgunned 4 against 2. Sorry, not the Decepticons, the Ascenticons found themselves a nice big whopping great railgun, and they're going to fire through the Eye of the Titan. It's the Eye of the Titan rising up, but they're actually going to decide the Emergent Titan. Springer goes off to check, gets shot at repeatedly. Sideswipe, thankfully with him this time, flanks them, also gets shot. So despite being outnumbered 4 against 2, the Autobots think they can handle 4 Ascenticons, and they're supposed to be getting just prisoners. Call for reinforcements. How long before we get some numbers on our side? Well, probably about 3 issues, which would take us to about Easter. Given that today it's the last day of October, you're in trouble, Sideswipe. But it's just weird. Everything about Quake and Barricade has been deleted. They've been out-stealthed by Master of Stealth Soundwave. What are you doing? And they get caught. Not mad keen on this comic-esque rendering of Bumblebee in this issue, I have to say. He looks very childish with overblown eyes and exaggerated features. But they're just keeping an eye out on what's going on. Find Refractor and Acid Storm, developing situation at an Emergent Titan. Opportunity to display the new face of the Ascenticons and assert it. Excuse me, we're off the bottom there. So things are escalating here, most certainly, especially on the Ascenticon side, where they're more prepared. Chromia, see there, features again, very, very briefly. Go, no action until I'm on scene. Likely story, there will always be action. Ratchet and Chromia have a conversation, and they've worked out who from the Rise base is likely to have caused the injuries to Rubble and possibly Brainstorm. And Ratchet finishes off with this pseudo cliffhanger that is just not a cliffhanger at all, to be quite honest. It's very not infuriating, it's just a bit of a meh. It's supposed to be a cliffhanger situation. You know, they're working out who might have killed Brainstorm, possibly with morphology drill, memorable morphology and drills, which doesn't prove anything, but does make us think. You really want to find out and ask him about Brainstorm. You ever heard of someone called Frenzy? And it's just this non sequitur name drop that is just, oh, it's Frenzy. What? And everyone's supposed to go, oh wow, Frenzy from G1. That's amazing. That's awesome. And we're like, big deal. So what? It's really not that much of a big deal anymore. It's not that exciting. We know nothing about Frenzy in this iteration of this universe. It just leaves you thinking, oh wow, big deal. This is really not a cliffhanger. It's not episodic. It's not worth the build-up of 13 issues almost for the death of Brainstorm. 12 if you don't include issue 1. Yeah, we've been playing this game now for 6 months or more. Ratchet's finally worked out its Frenzy, and so things have moved on, and so will I. We have the coming up next issue, possibly Starscream getting burned. The cover gallery, like I said, never judge a book by its cover. Here's Prowl and Chromia and Starscream, who between them Chromia features. They're meant to be chasing after somebody, not really. Springer, I'm assuming this is Springer. Here is an alternate cover by Umi Meow. And then another cover again. I'll just zoom out slightly so you can see that. And then Transformers Galaxies, yes, plural, about the generation of the Constructicons, excuse me. I've read issue 2 yesterday. It was a massive disappointment, so I'll say no more than that. If you want to recap everything you've read so far in one combined book, then issue 1 to 12 of the new Transformers saga is now available, presumably in hardback. My recommendation is not to bother, but that's just me. G.I. Joe, Citizen, Spy, Hero, and then this ongoing repetitious, overly exaggerated plug for Transformers, which itself is overly repetitious and not as good as it's made out to be. That's just me. I will give issue 14 one final go to see if they bring everyone, but then I am scrapping it. Finding a lot more interest in the old G1 issues on eBay. Enjoying Star Trek Year 5, which I will review the next issue of sometime soon. And generally not enjoying this series anything like as much as I was hoping to. Even now, it's deteriorating even further than I thought it would. So there you go. One final issue next time, issue 14. Until then, thanks very much for watching, and I shall see you soon. Transform and roll out.